I'm going to start with the moment everything snapped. The exact second I realized the man I loved wasn't just lying to me. He was rewriting my reality. 2 sentences, 2 breaths, and my entire world cracked. Because the night I opened his phone. Yes, I know, you're never supposed to do that. I wasn't prepared to find my name in a group chat labeled projects. Not contacts, not friends, projects. And underneath, my name was a single line. She's almost ready. But let me back up before we get there, or else none of this is going to make sense. Trust me, it barely made sense to me even while I was living it. When I first met Aaron, he wasn't the kind of guy who bowled you over with charm. No, his power was quieter, a slow, confident smolder that made you feel like you'd been chosen for something secret and important. He had that soft-spoken intensity that made even casual conversations feel like scenes in a movie. He'd look at you like he was memorizing your face for later. Creepy. Maybe. But when you're lonely, it feels flattering. We met at a mutual friend's art show. My friend Lena, actually. She was the kind of person who could throw together a full exhibition in 2 weeks and somehow pull it off flawlessly. I was only there because she had begged me to show up for moral support. I wasn't exactly thriving that year. Breakup, job stress, the usual millennial existential crisis. So when Aaron walked up to me as I was pretending to understand a painting of a red square and said, "You look like you see more than you say," I actually felt myself blush. Because who says that? Who says that with a straight face? We talked all night. I'm not exaggerating. From the gallery to a quiet corner cafe, we fell into this rhythm of oversharing that felt intoxicating. He told me about his work in behavioral research, vague, but smart-sounding enough that I didn't push for details. I told him about my fear of disappointing people. He listened, really listened, and something in me softened. The first red flag came 2 weeks in. A small one, easy to fold up and tuck away. I had mentioned wanting to try this new bakery downtown, and the next morning he showed up at my apartment door holding a box with every pastry I'd talked about, except I had never told him my address. Not verbally, not by text, not at all. I laughed it off. Did I tell you somehow? He only smiled. I'm good at remembering things. And listen, when you want to be loved, weird starts looking like romantic. But that wasn't even the worst part. 1 month in, he was everywhere. Every thought, every plan, every hour. He never pushed, he just appeared, like he knew where I'd be before I did. I'd run into him at my coffee shop on mornings when I changed my routine. He'd text me seconds before I was about to message him. He'd say things like, "I knew you'd choose that dress," and I'd laugh like it was cute instead of unnerving. Lena noticed first. One night while we were drinking cheap wine on my couch, she squinted at me and said, "So, you happy, or are you, I need to talk to a therapist about this guy happy?" I swatted her with a pillow, but something about the question lodged into my ribs. Because I was happy, and I was scared of how happy I was. Like it wasn't mine, like it had been handed to me. 3 months into the relationship, the house of cards finally began to tremble. It was a normal Wednesday night. And by normal, I mean he had cooked dinner, dimmed the lights, played some playlist called Taste Profile 3, which I assumed was just wannabe hipster nonsense, and spent the entire evening studying my reactions. Not talking, not eating, studying, like I was giving a performance I didn't know I'd auditioned for. Every time I put down my fork, moved my hair, cleared my throat, he watched with the kind of focus I'd only seen in documentaries about professional poker players. "Why are you staring at me?" I finally asked. His lips curled into a soft, unsettling smile. "Just observing." "Observing what?" "You." As if that explained anything. That night I didn't sleep well. My dreams were fragmented, sharp pieces of conversation, and strange little moments that suddenly felt wrong. Like the time he finished my sentence before I even realized what I was going to say. Or when he reacted to a story I hadn't told him yet. But again, love makes smart people dumb. The first major twist came on a Sunday morning when I woke up alone in his apartment. Aaron was gone. No note, no text, just the soft hum of his laptop screen glowing in the corner. You know that moment when your brain says, "Don't do it," and your body says, "Open the damn laptop." Yeah, that moment. I expected emails, maybe a second Instagram account, or worst case scenario, a folder of porn. What I did not expect was a series of files labeled with names. Names of women. 14 women. One folder was labeled Marlena COMPLTD. Another, Jess non-responsive. Another, Victoria partial. Then I got to the last one. EMILY, advanced progress. Me. That was me. My chest tightened. My ears buzzed. Every instinct screamed to slam the laptop shut, but I clicked. Inside the folder were documents, charts, notes, time-stamped logs of our conversations, literal scripts of things I had said, things I hadn't remembered telling him, observations about which compliments made me open up, which questions made me emotional, which silences made me talk more. There was a line under one of the entries. Goal, establish maximum vulnerability. I felt sick. A second file caught my eye. Behavioral adjustment plan. It listed things like increase reassurance on days after work stress, introduce jealousy stimulus X, mention coworker from research center, gauge reaction, reinforce desired dependency behaviors. Dependency behaviors. Like I was a dog he was trying to train, or a character he was trying to write. But that wasn't even the worst part. At the bottom of the document was a sentence that knocked the air out of me. She is nearly ready for extraction. Extraction. What the hell did extraction mean? I didn't get the chance to find out, because that's when the front door clicked open. I snapped the laptop shut and pretended to be asleep, but my heart was beating so loud I was sure he could hear it echoing off the walls. He walked toward the bed, leaned down, kissed my forehead and whispered, "Good girl." My stomach flipped, and not in the romantic way. From that moment on, every second became an investigation. He had notes on me, fine. I'd make my own notes on him. I played calm. I played normal. I played dumb, a role I found disturbingly easy given the circumstances. Over the next week, I started piecing together clues. Picture this. I'm sitting in his living room pretending to read while watching him through the reflection in the window. He moved with such intention. His laptop always angled away from me, his phone always set face down. Whenever I asked about his job, he would smile and redirect. Imagine the scene, me walking into his bathroom and seeing a locked cabinet underneath the sink. Who locks a bathroom cabinet? Psychopaths, that's who. At work, I became a detective. During lunch breaks, I searched for anything that might explain those files. Was he part of some weird cult? A secret government program? A pickup artist mastermind who had taken things to a sci-fi level? Every possibility felt insane, but none of them felt as insane as ignoring the truth. The real break came from an unexpected place. A woman named Tessa. One of the names in the folders. I found her on social media. It wasn't hard. Erin kept meticulous records, including last names. I messaged her with shaking hands, expecting her to block me or ignore me. But she responded immediately. "Is this about Erin?" she wrote. "Yes," I replied. "Do you need help?" she asked. That was when I knew. Whatever had happened to her wasn't normal either. We met at a little cafe across town. She was nervous, jumpy. Her eyes flicked to the door every time it opened. "Tell me everything," I whispered. "What did he do to you?" she asked instead. I explained the files, the notes, the extraction line. When I finished, she leaned back, exhaled shakily, and said, "I don't know what extraction means, but I know he broke me." She told me Erin had swept into her life the same way, intense, observant, attentive to the point of suffocating. And then, after 4 months, something shifted. He detached. Coldly. Suddenly. Like flipping off a switch. One day he told her with absolute calm, "You're ready now." Then he disappeared. For months afterward, she felt unable to function. "Like he rewired my brain," she said. I kept hearing his voice in my head. I kept thinking about what he would say, what he would want. It took me a year to feel like a person again. A year. My throat tightened. "What does he want?" I asked. She shook her head. "I don't know, but you need to get away." But I couldn't. Not yet. Not without understanding. Because underneath, all the fear was one sickening truth. Part of me still loved him. The second twist didn't hit until I dug deeper into his files, into the women's folders. Not just the notes, but the metadata. All the files were created on the same computer, all around the same times. Except one. Mine. My files had been started before I met him. Before the gallery, before the cafe, before the red square painting, I pretended to understand. There were screenshots of my old social media posts, notes from what looked like months of quiet observation. A-line reading. Initial interest, July 8th. First contact scheduled, September 12th. Scheduled. He had scheduled meeting me. Every memory I had from those early days, the coincidences, the perfect conversations, the way he seemed to understand me, none of it was fate. It was design. I didn't know whether to scream or laugh. Dark humor won out. Wow, I muttered to myself. Even my relationship trauma is organized. But all jokes aside, I knew I had to confront him. I waited until one night when we were sitting on the couch, a movie playing quietly in the background. My hands were trembling so hard I hid them under a throw blanket. "Aaron," I said softly. "Why do you study people?" He turned his head slowly. "What do you mean? Why do you have folders of women on your laptop?" Silence. He didn't deny it. He didn't ask how I knew. He just stared, cold, analytical, like I'd finally become interesting. "You looked," he said. "No shit, I looked." He sighed. "I thought we were past this stage." My stomach flipped. Stage. He stood, packing. "You weren't supposed to see that yet, but I suppose this is fine." "Fine? What does extraction mean?" I demanded. He smiled, a soft, chilling smile. "It means you're ready." "For what?" "For the next version of yourself." I almost ran, almost. But fear glued me to the couch. "What did you do to those other women?" "I helped them," he said simply. "Helped them how?" "By removing their unnecessary attachments." "My what now?" He crouched in front of me, taking my hands. "You told me you hated feeling uncertain. You told me you hated being alone. I can fix those things." "I didn't ask you to fix me," I whispered. "You didn't have to." That was the moment something inside me, something he had been molding, shaping, tightening, snapped free. I pulled my hands away. "Tell me the truth." He studied me, really studied me, like he was calculating something. Then he said quietly, "You were chosen because you adapt well." My blood turned to ice. "Chosen for what?" He tilted his head. "Do you really want to know?" "Yes." "You were chosen to be rebuilt." That was it. That was the line that broke me and rebuilt me in the same breath. Because in that moment, clarity slammed into me. He didn't love me. He didn't even see me. I was an experiment, a project, a blueprint he kept refining. And I refused to be someone's blueprint. So I stood. I walked to the locked bathroom cabinet. And before he could react, I slammed my heel against it until the latch cracked. Inside were dozens of notebooks, detailed logs. Not just about me or the other women, but diagrams, flowcharts, steps of emotional conditioning, methods, phases, manipulation tactics. He lunged forward. "Emily, stop. Don't you dare touch me." The rage in my voice surprised even me. All the fear, all the guilt, all the confusion it ignited. "This is sick," I said. "You're misinterpreting." "No, I'm finally interpreting it correctly." We fought. Not physically, verbally, emotionally, psychologically. Words hurled like knives. "I gave you everything," he said. "No," I replied. "You took everything. You needed me. I needed honesty. You're overreacting. You built a personality lab out of your bathroom cabinet." He froze, and then his voice softened. "Emily, don't walk away, you're not ready." But I was. I was more ready than he ever expected. I grabbed my bag, opened the door, and before stepping out, I said the only sentence that felt right. "I'm done being your project." The aftermath wasn't movie montage pretty. I didn't heal overnight. There were days when I questioned everything, my memories, my instincts, my sanity. But slowly, the world stitched itself back together. Lena helped. Therapy helped. Time helped. And in a strangely poetic way, Aaron helped too. Because he taught me the most important lesson I've ever learned. No one gets to break me and decide how the pieces fit back together. Only I do. I survived him. And I rebuilt myself, not as a project, but as a person. And now I have to ask, if you found someone studying your life in secret, would you confront them or run?